Hello everyone. Today I would like to provide a brief overview about immigration crisis in Canada and what to expect in the next couple of years. Canada saw a steep rise in migration across recent years, reaching nearly 500,000 temporary residents monthly, workers, students, visitors. This surge strained infrastructure, housing, healthcare, labor markets, and public services. Critics warn that continued high volumes could deepen shortages, fuel public resentment, and overburden systems. In response, both outgoing PM Justin Trudeau and incoming PM Mark Carney scaled back immigration targets dramatically. The narrative has shifted from aggressive welcoming to sustainable, controlled entry. Canada's 2025-2027 immigration levels plan marks a major policy shift. Annual permanent resident (PR) targets have dropped to 485,000 people in 2024, 395,000 in 2025, 380,000 in 2026, and finally 365,000 in 2027. Temporary resident targets, including students and foreign workers, were also slashed. Work permit caps were lowered, and student permit issuance was constrained to reduce their share of the population from 7% to 5% by the end 2026. These changes aim to ease housing crunches, partly to curb rental inflation, which has seen month-to-month declines since early 2025. Introduced under Carney in June 2025, the Strong Borders Act empowers the government to deny refugee hearings to claimants present over a year, require asylum applications within 14 days of crossing, cancel immigration documents. It's intended to enforce US-Canada Safe Third Country Agreement, curb irregular crossings, and is criticized by rights groups for undermining refugee protections. A $1.3 billion border plan boosts enforcement through 60 drones, surveillance towers, Black Hawk helicopters, mobile X-rays, expanded RCMP and Canadian Border Services Agency (CBSA) staff, K9 teams, joint US-Canada strike forces targeting fentanyl trafficking and migrant smuggling. The result, daily irregular crossings dropped from 165 to 12 per day since March 2023. Canada also introduced selective visa requirements. By mid-2025, 5 million temporary residents are expected to have expiring or expired permits, spanning students, workers, visitors. The migrant sector dubbed it a backlog crisis, aggravated by tight processing and policy shifts. Year of 2024 saw record refusals, over 2.35 million, 50% of temporary resident applications were denied, visitors 54%, students 52%, and work 22%. Thousands, especially Indian nationals, have lost or are awaiting work permit renewals due to slow processing and stricter LMIA scrutiny. Sectors like agriculture, hospitality, and construction are reporting major staffing gaps. Advocates are calling for emergency measures to prevent labor shortages and exploitation among undocumented workers. In 2024, 20,245 asylum claims were filed by international students, and 5,500 more by March 2025, raising questions about misuse of study permits. Quebec's sponsorship backlog for family reunification now approaches 37,000 applications with delays of up to 3 years, far above the Canadian average of 13 months. Mark Carney and PM Trudeau have been under pressure over unsustainable immigration levels. Conservatives like Pierre Poilievre advocate returning to Harper-era levels, 200,000, 250,000 new immigrants per year, and closing irregular entry points like Roxham Road. Even Liberals are now emphasizing balance between economic necessity and public capacity. Surveyed Canadians report growing concerns over housing affordability, public services strain, and cultural integration, leading to rising skepticism of multicultural models. Opposition MPs criticized the government for lacking a plan to address temporary resident expiration, deepening the crisis. Temporary foreign worker delays have hit agriculture, healthcare, hospitality, and construction. While immigration cuts eased rental inflation, they're not solving chronic housing deficits. Future construction workforce availability is crucial. International student enrollment slowed sharply in 2024, impacting university and college finances. The government is responding. Trade paths for undocumented construction workers and foreign apprentices have been introduced to address labor and housing gaps. Bill C-2, Strong Borders Act, is undergoing heated discussion in Parliament. Advocates warn it strips key refugee protections, while proponents say it's vital to stem irregular migration. Future policy will likely center on reconciling housing affordability with labor needs. Immigration Minister Mark Miller has proposed conditional immigration tied to housing construction and labor market demand. New programs aim to protect undocumented workers and apprentices. If implemented effectively, they could offer relief to marginalized groups in construction and trades. If you are struggling in Canada with your visa and immigration status in Canada and need help, please submit application on our website or contact us directly. Let's immigrate together.